Hey, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing today? My name is Todd Brow, and thanks for coming to the Facebook 101 with Transformation Marketing. I'm going to show you how to have a presence on Facebook, and if you already have a presence on Facebook, how to market your business. And I can tell you from my own experience with my own non-insurance side business I have, Facebook has been very prosperous for me, I'll put it that way, and a lot of leads and everything like that. So it's a great tool, and if I can do it, anyone can do it. So that's how easy it is. So what's that? So, and we also have folks on joining us virtually all over the country as well too. So, so why don't we get started? I'm going to introduce. There you go. All right. And also, if anyone on the virtual has any questions, we have Tyler over here, and he's going to monitor that, and then read off the questions, and you guys can answer it. Yeah. How's that sound? Okay. So this is kind of a new thing for us, and we're gonna we're perfecting that as we go along here. So it's kind of
the pressure off of us, because this is new for us.
Yeah.
As well, so.
So we're kind of in the virtual world. We're kind of in the R&D stages as well, but we're perfecting it as we go along, and we want to grow it as well too. So I'm going to introduce Shannon and also April, and from Transformation Marketing. I'm going to turn it over to them, and also for the folks here, if you just want to grab some, are you guys hungry? Could eat. Okay, we'll go back there and grab some stuff, and they'll start. Okay.
To start right now. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, you better go.
So we'll go ahead and present. You guys get food, ask questions as you will. I did say, sounds like someone's not muted. No, I think it's my feedback. I heard my voice come back to me.
I know.
Like a boomerang.
I know. I thought maybe somebody had here. That's what I was thinking.
Maybe.
They should mute us already. They should mute all of
So I say that we're new to this meaning all the virtual presentation, but we can adapt. What we aren't new to is online marketing. So in particular, today we're going to talk about Facebook 101. I will tell you a little bit about our company, my company. I started it 18 years ago, started as a traditional media planning and placement company. As marketing moved online, so did we. In the past several years, we've been working pretty much exclusively in that space. So whether you have questions today about Facebook in particular, or questions about online marketing and websites later, you can certainly reach out to us. We can help you. I do not do this alone. I have a great team. April is here with me today. She is the director of operations and an online guru holding, I don't even know how many certifications from Google, but she is very well educated in the online space, and she gears up our team. My husband is fortunate enough to work with me. He loves to answer to me both day and night as he does sales for our company. We have Aubrey, who is a graphic designer and animator. And then we have 3 social media coordinators and content writers, Austin, Kate, and Jessica. So that's a little bit about transformation marketing. Today, we're going to talk about initially, why would someone use Facebook? How many of you guys use Facebook personally? Hey, that's great. How many of you currently use Facebook for your business? Very good. All right. So how do you feel, how comfortable do you feel using Facebook for business? Less hands. All right. That does not surprise me. So you will leave here today with a lot more comfort level, I believe. If you're still like, you know, I like to do sales, I need someone to help me, we're here for that too.
This is not working. Oh, hey Todd.
Yeah.
This is not working anymore. I don't know if
Nancy?
I've erroneously done something.
There we
There
go.
we go. Perfect, thanks.
So if you joined us Tuesday, some of this information will be the same. Trust me, throughout the presentation, we did add all the tips and tricks that we promised you on Tuesday, but we'll go over this since we have new people here with us today and joining us online. So one thing is, when people look at Facebook, they're like, why do I want to be there? Well, when almost 70% of adults in the US use Facebook on a routine basis, that's a good reason. To boot, 74% of those particular users are on at least once a day. So they're frequent users. So when you spend your time and energy creating content in this space, chances are they're going to see it and they're going to see it frequently. Something else people ask is, well, I just don't know if the audience I'm trying to reach is on Facebook. I can guarantee they are. Facebook is the broadest social media category with all the age groups, household income demographics. So we broke that down by age for you. 30 to 49-year-olds, 79% of them use Facebook. 50 to 64%, or age group 50 to 64, 68% are using Facebook. And one of the things that surprises a lot of people, I don't know if it will surprise you, but people over 65, almost half of them are using Facebook, and that number grows. That's probably the largest demographic growing using social media platforms to date.
Can I get this to it? I think this disconnected again.
Oh, try it again.
Okay.
Try to get started.
It goes and then it pops back.
Okay.
There it is.
Got it? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Todd. So branching off of what Shannon said, that 65 plus age group is one of the fastest growing demographics on Facebook right now. A lot of that was due to 2020. I feel like we can't do anything without talking about the effects of COVID. But as people were having to, however you want to phrase it, shelter in place, self-isolate, whatever the case may be, they were doing everything they could to connect with family, friends, the outside world. And Facebook is how they did that quite frequently. Over the course of the last year, almost 50% of people across all age groups stated that keeping up with their family, friends, local communities on Facebook is why they're there. Things like Facebook Portal have brought even more individuals, especially baby boomers and older, into the social media realm. Facebook did a great job of marketing themselves that way. People can stay connected with family, you can send pictures. They're becoming much more internet savvy and Facebook savvy in particular. Of the people who use Facebook, 2/3 of the people who use it are on it at least once a day. Over the course of the last year, that has skyrocketed as well, because that's all some people had to do. 57% of the people on Facebook use it to share content.
And I think that's a magical number right there. When you're putting out educational content and they find it valuable, or they know someone that they've had a discussion with previous, they'll share that forward for you. And so that's a really great element of social media,
Right.
Facebook in particular.
And the last stat to go along with that, almost 80% of American consumers discovered at least one new product that they currently use via Facebook. And that's obviously a phenomenon that didn't happen ages ago, but it happens now.
So we put together, and you're like, oh, go ahead.
Quick question on that.
Yes.
There's no way to limit that, right?
No.
If there's an offer for a certain demographic or a certain zip code or county, there's no way to really not allow sharing.
Correct. So the question was, for those online, was can you limit the shares based off of geographic offerings if you're going to put a promotion out on geographic offerings? No. If you're going to put it on your Facebook page, it can be shared forward. Something that you may consider for that particular purpose would be to do Facebook ads, and you can limit those to be shown in particular demographic, like geographic areas.
Something to go along with that, with your industry in particular, the powers that be at Facebook kind of vacillate between what they think is considered a social topic. In the last 2 years, I think I have submitted every personal piece of information about myself, including a copy of my birth certificate, to Facebook. I was not allowed to post certain ads for clients until they were able to verify, I don't know what.
Everything about
I don't know
you.
why they need to know that I was born at St. Elizabeth in Lincoln, Nebraska, but they do. Now you all do too. So that is another thing to consider if you get into the Facebook ad realm. They may require, you might start getting messages saying, this has been denied until you provide me a copy of your driver's license, and we're going to mail you something with a code on it. And when you get it, you have to log in and put that code in so we can verify you. It's beyond ridiculous. So just know that occasionally, sometimes there are those obstacles that exist that you have to jump through. So,
And on that too, we do that for our clients. So if the ad space seems a little scary for you, we do that on your behalf. There's also tools that we can use with programmatic buying that sidesteps that we can do that for. So if you have specific offers, look us up. Maybe we could find a strategy for you. So we put together, and you're like, I'm going to spend some time on social, or I feel like I should spend some time on social. Which profile do I use? So we put this across with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and on those same age groups. And when you look down the Facebook row or column, it is adopted by all of those age groups, largely over Twitter and Instagram. So if you're limited on time and you don't want to be an expert in all the platforms, like our staff is required to do, you can see where Facebook is going to be the place that is going to win you the most opportunities. So,
oh, there we go. So what do all these numbers tell us? Facebook still has the broadest range of users of any social media platform. Going back to that table that Shannon showed just a minute ago, one of the beauties of being on Facebook, if you choose to advertise on Facebook, you don't have to have an Instagram profile to take advantage of advertising on Instagram also. If you run a paid ad on Facebook, you can set it so that it also shows on Instagram. It's kind of a nice side benefit of Facebook gobbling up all the companies. So Facebook, it's still the most well-known platform out there, and it has one of the easiest user interfaces to date. Over the course of the last year, we've seen several Facebook-like entities try and pop up, and some of them were shut down. Prior to that, though, people would go to those spaces and try and use them and couldn't. They looked like Facebook, but they didn't function like Facebook, and it frustrated people, and they just went back to Facebook. So that's where pretty much everyone is and where they bounce back to. The other great thing about using Facebook is that you have a large percentage of that 30+ demographic that is on the platform as well, which means that you're capturing future clientele. You're also capturing influencers and decision makers of your older clients as well. The adult children who might be helping their parents navigate, new stages in life and new insurance products they need and things like that. So you're capturing those individuals too, which is huge. Some other important numbers to know: almost 80% of Facebook users use the platform on mobile exclusively. They are not on it on a desktop at all. So why does this matter? What looks great on a computer monitor, on a nice big 22-inch computer monitor, may not look so great on a smartphone. The text, if you put text in an image, it might be too small to read. That frustrates people instead of taking the time to actually try and enlarge the picture, they'll just scroll. They'll just keep going and they won't look at it. And they potentially form a bad opinion about it. So making sure that things look good on mobile also is a key element if you're using images or video.
And to dovetail off of that, I think we said this Tuesday too, is when you're going to spend content time on Facebook that is largely used on the Facebook app and smartphones, when you drive them to your site, you're going to want to make sure your website is also mobile friendly. So social media users can be quite snobbish in how they get their content and their tolerance for how they want to see it. So I don't want to throw too much at you, but that is something that you want to consider. I did talk to an agent earlier today that was on Tuesday, and I think she's on here right now. We just talked about a little bit about the importance of having a mobile friendly site, because when you're going to drive them through that funnel, which we'll talk a little bit more later, they're going to want to see it on their phone so they don't have to work for it and scroll side to side.
Yeah. And if there's by chance someone out there who doesn't know what Shannon means by a responsive site, mobile friendly site, if you've ever accessed a website on your phone that it looks like the entire website has just been shrunk and is trying to fit on your screen, and you have to try and pull things back and forth to read a paragraph, that is not mobile friendly. So when she means mobile friendly, it's just a slightly separate design piece that we do on the back end of websites to make sure that no matter how people are accessing your information, they're getting it in a way that is very, very user friendly, looks nice, easy for them to read, digest, those types of things. 15% of Facebook content is also video. That number is rising every single day. And that can be pre-recorded video. It can be Facebook Live events. Facebook Live kind of scares people from time to time. However, again, this last year has put more of us online doing presentations, meetings, whatever the case may be. People have gotten more comfortable by and large in front of cameras. Also, Facebook Live videos are very, very forgiving. People tend to view them as, what's the word I'm looking for? Not spontaneous, they are spontaneous, but very authentic.
Yeah, authentic. And they see that you're talking to the screen, you're talking to them. And we do have examples later on in the presentation about a Facebook Live and what that's like and what pre-recorded content is.
So why does it all matter? 2020 obviously again gave us a lot of really unusual scenarios. It ushered in a whole new paradigm of how people use social media, how people use the internet, because of the fact that businesses shuttered and went all remote, because people were working at home and couldn't go places, either because they didn't want to, because they were caring for someone who was ill, or potentially because nowhere in their area was open. People started doing pretty much everything online. And that's how people work now. That's how some businesses are going 100% now. They've been closed for a year and having workers out remotely, and they've decided it works great and they're not going to have people back in the office. So that is how people are now seeking out the bulk of their information, is online. Facebook plays a huge role in that, because I don't know if you've ever searched something, done a Google search on something, oftentimes a Facebook result will pull up as one of the top results as well. So it works well for a lot of things. And then your online presence is hugely important, and social media plays a big role in that. There are a lot of people who will go to Facebook to look for your phone number, your hours of business.
Are you closed during a March snowstorm?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
those sorts of
Any
things.
number of things. And it's a great way to get that information out to people also.
So we've talked about stats and reasons why people are on Facebook, why you should be there. One of the things that I think is interesting is there's a lot of studies out right now talking about dual screens. And when you hear that, if they are watching TV, oftentimes they're also scrolling through. Yeah, you see, you're doing it right now. They're also, have a handheld screen. So that's important that you are reaching people that you wouldn't otherwise reach, but you're also, say you are a traditional media buyer, you're going to support that because if they see your commercial, they will go to your socials as well while they're watching TV. So dual screen is a real thing. And it's actually probably more the norm. There's very little times that I'm not having a screen in front of me while we're watching a family show. So ads that appear in users' Facebook feeds they kind of work in both intrusive and non-intrusive ways. So in traditional media, commercials were, like radio commercials, were intrusive. You didn't get to pick what you saw. So it just was served up to you at the commercial break. Well, you can promote content to reach people that you aren't connected to on Facebook, which is really great. But because they're choosing to be on social, it's not necessarily seen as intrusive. They like to hear about new products. They like to learn things, and oftentimes they do that on the Facebook platform. Facebook also gives the opportunity to have engagement indicators. So people can like your post, they can share your post, they can love your post, they can comment on your post. And the other thing that they can do is they can save your content. So I do this often. I have file folders in my Facebook, show to Travis, show to Peyton, show to Alex, because I'll forget. But there's posts sometimes that I see and that I can't fully watch because I'm in public, and I'll save them for later. So your content also, if it's not engaged with at that moment, they have the ability to save it and come back to it. And I would see that the content that you guys would be serving up, that would be something people would save and utilize later, and certainly share because it's educational content.
So what value does Facebook hold in the sales funnel? This is our version of the sales funnel. I'm sure you all have seen some version of it in the past. Starting at the top with awareness, this in regards to social media is just that awareness stage is ads being served up to your audience, or potentially someone sharing one of your posts and it's now appearing in their feed and their friends are seeing it. That's the awareness stage. Interest comes after that. So let's say someone sees one of your ads, they're intrigued by it, they follow it to your actual Facebook page, and they opt to follow you. So now they are following you. They will see posts as you're putting them up. The consideration stage comes after that, and that's just as they're continually seeing that routine engagement on your behalf. Showing your products and services, talking about your office, talking about your agency, whatever the case may be, that helps them form that opinion of you. They start to get to know you.
And build trust.
Yeah, and build trust. The decision and action stage, as much as I would love to be able to come through the phone and make them pick up the phone and call you, I can't, but hopefully they get through those top couple in the funnel, and they will then decide that they like you guys, they want more information, whatever the case may be. They'll pick up the phone and call, they'll email, maybe they'll go to your website and fill out a contact us form. Hopefully that's where you're leading them to, and then eventually they purchase a product or service from you.
I get super excited about this sales funnel, and April was last what you get super excited about. But she indicated that the stars are all part of that buying and post-buying process can be directly influenced by the content on Facebook. And I think that is super powerful, because right now it's been really interesting to watch consumers and how they shift their decision making on what they buy and who they buy from. So it puts a lot of pressure on businesses right now, because it's not the fact that you offer what they need or that they should have or what will help them. It's who you are as a company. Do you engage in the community? Do you give back? Do you have a great culture in your office? They want to know about you, and they want to buy from people that they trust and companies that align with things that they believe in. So in many regards, it's kind of put a lot of pressure on businesses, but Also, I weigh that out with, we have so many more channels to convey these things that you've probably done for years. Oftentimes when I talk to business owners, they're like, well, I've always done this, and I don't like a lot of accolade. And I'm like, I understand that, but people like to know what you're about and what you contribute to. And I know Senior Insurance does a lot of community involvement and philanthropy stuff. And so putting that forth on these platforms help you make those connections.
The flip side of the buying sales funnel is what happens after the sale is made. Again, these two items are both directly influenced via social media, Facebook in particular. You have retention. So after they meet with you, after they purchase a service, a good, whatever the case may be, they're still following your page. They're continuing to see your posts coming up in their feed. You're keeping yourself top of mind with them without being overly aggressive. Hopefully you all get 5-star reviews from everybody. All of your clients love you. Those people turn into influencers then. When Shannon posts on her personal Facebook page, hey, I need to help my folks find X, Y, or Z, a Medicare supplement, or I need to help them find a plumber, or whatever it is, she'll say, who has recommendations for me? People can start plugging in right there who their recommendations are.
And when they tag you, your Facebook profile will come up. Your business profile will come up. So that's really nice, because then they can click right there.
Mm-hmm. That is right.
So we talked about the whys. I love to talk about the whys, because when things get hard, I want you to remember, why are you doing it? We'll now talk about creating a Facebook page for your business. Some of you have done this, some of you may have not. So when you do a Facebook page for your business, please do not use your personal Facebook page. I know that might be a little strange, because a lot of you may still be or have started as an individual agent. You start with your current circle of influence and branch out. But you need to have a business page and keep your personal page separate. We'll talk about how they work in tandem. If you use your personal Facebook, it will confuse followers. And sometimes you just want to have personal stuff be personal. So when you create an official business page on Facebook, fill out all of the about information. So when you go through there, fill out what your agency is about, spend some time, not necessarily on everything that you offer, but the whys behind why they would buy from you. They will go to that about section and want to read about you. Fill out a link to your website. Make sure your hours are up there. Give them all the information, because some of your buyers may never go to a website. They may want that all on your Facebook profile. The last thing we put in here is make sure you have good quality images. Oh no. Oh, the about page, sorry.
If you haven't seen it, this for a business profile is what the about section looks like on the back end when you're filling it out. This is just a small snippet of ours, but it has our address, it has our website, it has our phone number, it has our hours, all sorts of items. It will allow you to put goods and services in there as well. There's a lot of stuff that you can fill out. Highly, highly, highly encourage, recommend that you put all of that information in there. We all know how fickle people can be and how weird they can get sometimes when they don't find one tiny piece of information. So have it all there. Worst case scenario is it's too much, but
it's never too much.
No,
never ever too much. So I wanted to talk to you about the elements of a page. So it occurred to me, I think on Tuesday, that we talked about cover photos and we talked about profile images. Depending on where you are and how you use it, a cover photo here is that big picture at the top, and a profile picture is a little circle at the lower side. So we're going to show you examples of good structure. We're going to show you some examples of bad structure. we don't know any of the bad structures personally, so we didn't select them for any other reason but to prove our point. So I think the challenge that people have is the circle. The circle sometimes, what they want to put in the profile picture may not fit. So you'll want to be very specific, and you'll see those on the bad examples, but make sure your pictures are crisp and clear. If you want to choose seasonal, make sure that you change them seasonally and use your brand colors. I mean, that is a big thing that we do as branding agents a lot of times, is just making sure that we are keeping things on brand. You might go, you know, I'm a small agency, I don't have that. Pick something, stay true to it. So people get that, oh, that's XYZ agency, and they know who you are. Good profile pictures are completely visible. They're clear and readable and brand appropriate. So it might mean that your logo fits in there. As you can see with mine, I can't fit my big long name in there. So I picked the one icon element to put in the profile picture. So here's a couple other examples, so you don't think I'm totally self-promoting transformation marketing only. These are two of our clients too. So you can see that what their cover photos look like. You saw some seasonal ones. Here's ones that can be used year round if they choose to, and what they look like.
So one of the other big, before I go on to the next slide, one of the other big things with your profile photo, which I'll show you in just a sec. Whenever you comment on something on Facebook, that profile picture is what's going to show up right next to your comment. So if it's illegible, if it's a bad picture that people can't figure out what it is, whatever the case may be, it's just not as professional.
And that is, again, your brand. So it's like, oh, I see their content all the time and they're commenting on this post as a business. That brand is engaging. So yeah, it's important that they see that.
Okay. Now Shannon took all the good examples, and
I know you like the bad ones.
oh, do you? Okay. Okay. So some poorly designed Facebook cover photos and profile images. I'm gonna get up and walk over here too. So on this one, this poor guy doesn't have the top of his head. I personally wouldn't have put a photo up there like that. So make sure that things are cropped appropriately. Make sure that the elements are visible in the photo. Then their profile picture, they're both in the profile picture. They both have their full head, but you can't see their logo. You can't see their business name. So, you know, that's going to show up even tinier next to comments that they leave. Personally, I mean, their logo is a perfect circle anyway. I would have just put their logo in there. That's what I would have done. We don't need faces in there also for this. On this one over here, I don't even know what the business is. I think it's for the Yellow Pages. But you've got white text on a gray background, which is incredibly difficult to read on a small screen. Their business name is difficult to read in the profile picture, and it's also slightly cut off. And I have no clue what the background image is. It doesn't tell me what their business is at all, which is a pet peeve of mine and of other people's. Some other examples of poorly designed cover photos and profile images. This one here, this red one, they've got their logo in the profile picture. That's great. It's cut off. You can't see the whole thing. There are sizing and resizing tools that you can use that are very user-friendly that will allow you to size these things appropriately so you can slip them in there. It may seem like a little thing, but it just lends itself to the professionalness of you, of your business, all of those things, attention to detail. Again, this has really small print on it. It's fine on a big TV. On a mobile device, not so much. And some of the text is covered up by the profile picture. On this other one over here, we mainly pulled this because of the profile picture itself. Again, it's cut off. You have no clue what it is. And then finally, our last couple. This is another one, this blue one here, of just tiny text. You can't read it. Their logo pretty much fits in their profile circle, but it's really fuzzy. It's a bad image. And then over here for Kennel Inn, cute picture. It would be great if it was sized a little bit differently and if it wasn't super grainy. Also, if it wasn't an image that was stolen off of Google. That is something that will come back to haunt you later on.
For years.
For years, including potential lawsuits. I cannot advise you strongly enough, do not steal images off of Google. Steal, borrow, however you want to phrase it, don't do it. Companies routinely scan all sorts of things. Getty Images, businesses, if they come across an image that you are using that you don't have license to use, you will find yourself being served with a lawsuit. Happened to many people that we know. Some of it is completely, oh my gosh, we didn't even know, we had no clue. They don't care. And they won't just sue you for using the image right now. They have a whole way of saying, well, if you left this up, 782,000 more people might see it in the next 6 months. So we're suing you for damages related to that also. Seems extreme, they will do it. Okay, am I marked on this one too? I know.
Yep, this is you.
Is it me? Okay, so I talked about some of those items that would help with graphics. Two of the ones that are very, very user-friendly, they have both free and paid versions, are PicMonkey and Canva. PicMonkey works a lot like Photoshop. It's just much more user-friendly, especially if you have no idea how to use Photoshop. It has a mobile version also, which is great if you're trying to do something on the fly. Again, they're both very user-friendly. They take the guesswork out of creating graphics, which I'll show you here in just a second. They offer blank templates that are already sized appropriately and labeled, so you know exactly what you're getting when you start to create something. This would be after I logged into PicMonkey this morning. This is the screen that I get, so I can choose a blank canvas. And they have all sorts of online platforms that they have graphic sizes for as well. So if you have an Etsy store, Instagram, Facebook, they have LinkedIn, they've got all sorts of stuff. So let's say you want to create a Facebook post, an image, you're not quite sure what size it needs to be. You can literally just pick it right here. Make your image, make your graphic there. It is optimized to be the right size for Facebook. Same thing with ads, with cover photos. If you're going to put something in your Facebook story, all of those things, you can always be guaranteed that they'll be sized correctly, which is great, because the one thing that frustrates everyone is making something that you think is amazing, uploading it somewhere, and it doesn't fit, it's grainy, parts of it are cut off, and then you have to go back and try and reformat everything again. So.
And I believe Canva does too, and I believe Canva also has some of those royalty-free pictures in
They
their
do have
plan.
some, as does PicMonkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked about setting it up. Let's talk about creating a plan. So one of the things that I cannot stress enough, I would say this is probably one of the most biggest things, is just planning it out, because you guys are going to be busy. I know that you wear different hats. Maybe you do this part-time or full-time, or you have a part-time gig like you're subbing at Norris or Waverly at schools. Time is going to get away from you. So if you can set aside and block schedule a time going, I am going to develop enough content for the week or the month. It will help you remain sane. It will also help you just focus on what you want to say. So I know many of your businesses or your products have seasonality. You have open enrollment months. You might move into a different product that once that season has closed, you move into something else. You can put together an annual plan so you know every month what you want to focus on, and then set aside some time to specifically think about the content you want to do on a monthly program. So sometimes we break this up and we know that I want to create an educational post on Tuesday, Thursday, but on Friday, I want to put out more of a fun fact, or I want to put something out about our team or our culture. However you want to slice and dice your week, make it a combination of different material, and you will start to create a rhythm and a flow to what you want. It won't take long to have that just kind of be second nature, but it takes kind of, what do I want to post, down to I know exactly the content and then I can create something. So those steps will help you. Plan that out in a planning calendar. We have some examples we'll go through today. There's a lot online as well. We can email you a planning calendar as well that you can use. And then you can also schedule your posts in advance. So when you're planning this out, that's really great. But now you don't want to think about it the rest of the month. So when you create them, schedule them. So you know next Friday, something's already taken care of. You don't have to open up your social media on the daily and put your post in so you can run your business.
So some of the additional benefits of planning your social content, regardless of where you are in the process, if you're an expert, if you're a beginner, it doesn't matter. Planning, just like with everything else in life, it helps get you started. It keeps you on track. You have plan. It can eventually bleed over into other areas. So say you start with a Facebook page, then you want to get a website up, then you decide to start blogging or whatever else the case may be. It can help you with planning those items as well. And Shannon, like Shannon said, we'll show you some examples here in just a bit. It can help with planning out paid ads when you want those to run, and with your other social media platforms that you're on as well, because you might want to do a Facebook post on Monday, Wednesday. You might want to put out tweets potentially on Tuesday and Friday. So it just kind of helps you know in advance what you're doing. And then again, like Shannon said, you're not constantly having to go in and think, okay, what am I doing today? It just adds one more daily thing on your list where you could have it taken care of all in one fell swoop. Planning also helps with alleviating on-the-fly writer's block, which happens to a lot of people. You can sit down and actually have time set aside where you can come up with good quality content and get it out there. It increases creativity, it increases your research time, and it also allows you to pivot quickly if something were to come up. So Shannon mentioned a March snowstorm. With our clients, we had a lot of them when the last snowstorm hit that wound up closing unexpectedly in the middle of the day. Lots of doctors' offices, things like that. We had planned content ready to go out for them. When they called us in the morning, all we had to do was just bump that somewhere else, put up a quick post, not a big deal. Had that happen with COVID a lot too. Places suddenly closing or suddenly going to all online ordering or whatever the case may be. It's an easy way to not have to get stuck with the suddenness of something and then try and come up with more stuff later on. So this is an example. This is a snippet of one of our clients' annual planning calendar. And we do these, we set these up every year for our clients by the month. These are not obviously very detailed. This is just when we sit down in January and we plan out the whole year. These are the things that we are deciding that we're going to talk about. So in May, we know that there's some important dates, holidays that we want to make sure to recognize. We know some of the themes and the blog topics and the social topics, and now we're ready to go. So now in March or April, we don't have to try and think, shoot, what was I going to do in May, in June, in July? We already have it here and it's ready to go. When the time comes, we have, oh, my remote's not working again. Darn technology.
No.
No. There we go. So this is an example of a monthly planning calendar. If you guys want or need, this is something we have prepared that we can email out to you as well. But there's lots of different formats out there. This is an example of what our content writers use on a monthly and daily basis. So now we can see we're broken up by week, by day, and we're broken up by platform. So for this particular client, we have a line for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then that W at the bottom is WordPress. So if you're going to publish a blog or whatever the case may be. Now we can know detailed day by day. We're going to post an educational post about Zoom
Medicare?
meetings,
Yeah.
Medicare, on Monday. And then maybe on Thursday, we're going to post something about an outing that the office is doing, or maybe we're doing a food drive or whatever the case may be. You have all that planned out, ready to go. And then when you get to your scheduling your content, it's not so much of a back and forth. You already have your plan in place and you can kind of flow forward from there. It's not working again.
For those of you online, we're having a little bit of clicker issues, so that's why we pause and look a little confused. So
There we go.
one of the things that I promised you guys on Tuesday, if you happen to tune in Tuesday, was a list of posting and scheduling platforms. I know it probably seems like a lot that we've talked about. These will be your best friend, whatever you choose. I know Todd has this presentation too, so I think we'll share that out however he chooses to do that. But so you'll see a lot of these. Some of them have very creative names. But nonetheless, you can put your content in there and schedule it out. So there's quite a few there for you to pick from.
And they have a variety of plans. They're pretty much all paid services, but they're not expensive paid services. The one that we use is in this list, and we use it for all of our clients, and it works really well. Everyone has a login. You know, if somebody is sick or whatever, somebody else can log in. If things need to be moved around, if we need to rework something, it's there. We can do it. You can see a full month snapshot if you want. It's very beneficial. And you can schedule posts in Facebook natively as well. It's just a little bit more labor intensive. So it's not working.
Which
What
one
was
do
that?
we use? We use Sendable.
Yep, there we go.
And I don't know what the structures are on all of those because we don't use all of them, but you can compare across
Mhm.
the board. So creating content. So what I would encourage you is not to focus on the likes, but building good content and building your base of followers. So something that I really like about Facebook is as you build your audience and you encourage your current clients to be there, and we may choose to run ads or things are sharing and your audience is growing. Once they're in your audience, when you put out content, they get to see it. You aren't paying for them to see it. You know, if you used ads to build your audience, once you've paid for that, the more content you put out, you aren't paying for. It's just time at that point. So I would definitely base your excitement on your audience build. The other thing that may be true for some of your content is even though they read it, they may not choose to engage with it. You know, it's an educational piece. They may share it. They may not hit the like button, and that's okay. So what we want to do is consumers like to feel educated enough that when they call you, that they can ask intelligent questions. And with the good content on your page and on your website, that will encourage them even more to call. We talked about education. I love your industry and a lot of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Another probably stupid question, but how do you differentiate your business page
To move them from your personal page over?
No, I'm just saying, I've never sent out an invite. I sent out an invite to my clients, or put it in my email signature or something like that. Follow my business page, what would I put on there? How would they, I mean, how would they follow my business, not me personally?
Oh,
Got it.
yeah. So on your business page, there is a follow button that they would do. So make sure that, so the question was, how do you make sure your clients are following your business page, not your personal page? So when you put, if you put, and we'll cover this a little bit later too, when you put icons on your digital signatures or, you know, in your, on your website, make sure it leads to your business page and they can click follow right on your business page.
And we'll cover that a little bit more too. You must know what we're going to talk about.
I love it. So one thing I like about your industry and a lot of the industries that we work with is they aren't a widget to sell, you know, where they're doing a lot of click to buy, AdWords, I just want to buy. A lot of their process of sales is the education part. And so we say that a lot, I know, during this presentation, but it makes it really easy then to build educational posts and soft sell posts. And we have examples of that here. So you don't have to say, hey, click to buy Medicare Advantage, click. Well, that doesn't tell me much. That doesn't prompt me. It doesn't educate me further to do that. But you have a wealth of information that you can put through to your clients. So it just lends really great for this. April's rule of thumb is to have a ratio of 5-to-1, meaning 5 non-sales posts to a soft sell post. And again, she has examples that she's put together. Keep in mind that especially the industry that you're in, they're buying you. You know, we have attorneys and they're buying the attorneys. We have CPAs and they're buying the CPA's knowledge. So when they're buying you, they want to know about you. And it's kind of crazy how they engage with stuff that you're like, why would I put that up there? And they love it. So for example, my first real experience was when we built our new office building, we put project progression pictures up and we're like, well, it was important to us, but will it be important to them? They were the most highly engaged pictures. But, and then when I met them, they're like, oh, I saw that the building's coming along, and they really like that type of content. So just make sure that you put some of that in. If you, and you go, I'm not building a building, what does that look like? Well, in your office, if you're celebrating a coworker's birthday, put that on there. Let them know that you're caring about the people that you're working with. So those are just some examples of what you can do.
Another fun example of that, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I tried to find the post earlier and I couldn't, but one of our medical offices that we work with, it run by a husband and wife. Wife is behind the scenes, husband is the physician. They had sent us a picture of, they had just finished a big retreat. I think her husband, the physician, had lost in a game of something. And what he had to do was he had to sit at the front desk and answer calls. And he had to sit at the front desk. He had to greet patients as they came in. He had to photocopy insurance cards. He had to do all of the stuff that.
She performed the surgery.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
There were winners and losers
Exactly.
that day.
Exactly. Holiday Inn Express may have been involved. Yeah. He didn't last long at the front desk. I can tell you that much. He did not last long up there. But she had some pictures that she sent to us, and oh my gosh, I mean, the amount of people that commented on them, the amount of people that liked them, the amount of people that shared them.
Guess what Todd's doing?
Yeah.
I've done it before.
So those are just other, you know, fun things that might be happening in the office that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then oftentimes then that person, if you highlight a spotlight of employee, then their family engages and their friends engage because they like to be celebrated. So Well, good.
We'll do you next.
So we kind of talked about these, so I won't go a lot over this slide just because we've talked about educational content. Date-based content, we talked about that. If there's something timely, be it COVID, be it a snowstorm, I don't know, like the IRS pushing back tax day for 2 years in a row, those sorts of things are date-based, and then office and staff-based, which we just talked about too.
And then above all, remember that social media is meant to be social. Sometimes that gets lost in translation when you're trying to promote a business, but it is meant to be social. That's the end goal of it. Posts that tend to get the best engagement are those that aren't just text also. They have a image, a photo accompanying them. It may be a stock image that you obtained legally from a stock image site. It might be a photo from in your office, or you're out doing something, something to that effect, or it could be a video, a Facebook Live, a pre-recorded video, which we'll show you some examples of here too in just a little bit. And again, never pull anything from Google. They are always watching, I guarantee it. Some more just bonus tips for great engagement. Don't overpost.
Less is more.
Less is more.
Just like your mom told you when you put on makeup for the first time. Less is more.
Or cologne, whatever
Yeah.
the case may be.
Less is more.
So I'm guessing if you're on Facebook, everyone has seen, or everyone has a friend or a group of friends or whatever who post 18 times a day. They woke up, they just had their meditation, they just wrote the 5th chapter of their book. Here's a picture of their breakfast. Now they're going for a run. Now, you know, whatever the case may be, I'll move in with you if I want to know that much information about you. I don't need it in my continual Facebook feed. The same goes for businesses. The other thing that you wind up shooting yourself in the foot with too many posts is that they get, what you just posted gets lost by what you're now posting. So if you put up 5 posts in a day, the first post that you put up is now buried under 5 other posts already. So that's something to keep in mind. It will also decrease your reach.
But that should relieve some pressure, is
Yes.
that this isn't a quantity thing. Quality is important, consistency is important. So you don't have to generate a ton of content. Start with twice a week.
Yeah.
Start with 3 times a week or whatever it is. But quality over quantity is the name of the game.
So 2, 3, 4 times a week. A lot of our clients, we are in the 3 to 4 times a week. If you're starting out, twice a week is fine. The other thing to keep in mind is keep it consistent. If you post one time and then never post again for 6 weeks, and then you put up another post, Facebook doesn't look kindly on that. They think that you're not very engaged. So why should they put a big effort out into making sure that you're seen in all of your followers' feeds? It seems odd, but it's part of their algorithm. It's been true for a long time. So doing those routine posts also help with just keeping your information out there and at a rate that is not overwhelming, but easily consumable by the people who are viewing it. And then if you're putting links, this doesn't work all the time, but if you're putting links in your Facebook posts, direct people to your website, not away from it. Don't constantly be putting links in that are directing people everywhere else besides your website. Bring them back to your website. That's where your information is going to be. That's where you want them to land. You don't want them going to someone else's site.
To Forbes or wherever you
Yeah.
found an article, we want them to come back to you.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't get away from that. Sometimes you do share something that's very industry specific and it takes them off site. That happens, that's okay. Just don't make a habit of it. Some examples of bad Facebook posts. This is actually a client that we got a year ago. These were posts that all occurred on the same Monday prior to us taking over their social media. In fact, I think all 3 of these posts went out before noon. So sometime between 7 a.m. and noon. So they're very big into racing. They sponsor a race car driver. So we've got the back end of Jack Dover. I don't see his face, but we've got a racing post. Right after that, we have a inspirational post that's great, but it's off brand. It's not their colors. It's also really fuzzy. And then shortly after that, something about making sure you keep your hoses in good condition. So take that for what you will. You can see that since they put out so many so rapidly, their reach for each post is low. And they had, I think at the time, well over 1,000 followers on their page. But their Jack Dover post reached a total of 18 people. And I didn't screenshot this the day of. I screenshotted this several weeks later. So a total of 18 people saw that post. Their inspirational post, 42 people saw it total. Their hoses post, 26 people saw it total. And they averaged anywhere from 5 to 7 or 8 posts a day. It was a lot. We took over for them for their social. We went down to 3 posts a week for them. Their engagement jumped immediately because we weren't bombarding people with stuff. Posts weren't getting buried. People were actually able to see them. So the amount of people reached, now granted, it's not their full follower list, but we've increased dramatically from 19 to 214. And as we continued to post for them routinely, but not overwhelmingly, those numbers continue to rise. So this first post, it's actually an image of some of their trucks. The link leads people back to their website. So it does everything it's supposed to do. The middle post is highlighting one of their drivers. We've made this a routine thing now. We do a driver spotlight every couple weeks for them. The drivers love it. Their families love it. That's a demographic that tends to get looked over quite a bit. So they really do like that, just being able to be in the spotlight for a little bit. And then another photo, again, giving some information about the company. Let us haul for you, get a quote today. Nothing more than that, but then a link back to their website. So if you wanted to contact them, if you wanted to fill out the contact us form, whatever the case may be, you could do that. All 3 of these use high quality images. They're either educational or they're an employee spotlight. They're personable, they're relatable, and the 2 that have links go back to this company's website.
Well, and the people reached, you can see, went from 1820 up to 335, 317. But also what April didn't circle here is the engagements went up too. So where they had 0 to 1 engagement, now they're having 20, 25 engagements, people engaging with that post. So
An engagement with a post can be a reaction to it. They like it, they love it. Hopefully it's not making them angry. It can be, an engagement can be them clicking the link and going back to your website. That's recorded as an engagement. And the other thing Facebook likes to see is engagement. They like to see that. So they eventually make it easier and easier and easier for more people to see the content. Some examples of educational posts versus sales posts. So Shannon talked earlier about soft sell versus hard sell. Believe it or not, Facebook does scan posts as well. If they think that something falls into what they would consider to be a spammy category, they will decrease that post's ability to reach the maximum amount of people. If I knew the rhyme or reason to everything that they did, that would be great. I don't. I'm just telling you the front end stuff that I do know. But educational posts and soft sell posts are, in this first one over here, you're just informing people about a product or what that product can help them with, or their parents with, or whomever the case may be, their spouse. The second one is, it's a soft sell post. Give us a shout if you'd like more information. We're happy to help. Nothing more than that. Not you've got 24 hours to call, or radio commercial that I can't stand right now is a Moxie Mitsubishi commercial. I can only help 86 more people. Well, how long are you going to have that ad up? A, and B, where do we get 86 from? What?
You guys do the leaf guard ad?
The
No,
leaf guard? No,
no.
nope.
Do you like them?
No.
No. I have not heard that one. Some of the hard sell posts that we don't like to see for both the text and the imagery is what's over here on this side. So, you know, there was a point in time where these images were used heavily in publications, in newsprint and all that stuff. It makes people feel like you think that they're dumb at this point. You know, they're confused, they don't know what they're doing, and that may be, but don't point it out to them. You were going to say something.
Well, I was just going to say, like, when you look at this doesn't give me much reason to click. We have great plans and rates, get a quote today. I don't really know much more about that. But when we look here, interested in Medicare Advantage plan, well, I guess maybe I've been hearing some stuff about it. Hey, the election period for 2020 starts October 1st. This is a time when individuals can sign up for Medicare Advantage plan without having to go through the underwriting process. Give us a shout. We're happy to help. It's like I got 3 pieces of information and a welcome to reach out. So it just settles well when you read it versus I don't know why I would click or call.
Right.
I've been given no reason. So,
And this first post over here, that's an educational post, the couple sitting at the computer. So the text that's there is a snippet from a blog that's been published on that company's website. So there's just a little snippet of that information. And then where it says link to blog on website, that's where you'd put the link that goes back to your website that links directly to that article that you wrote and published, that gives them the full breadth of the information. Oh, okay. So some more examples of highly engaging posts. This one is Catholic Foundation of Southern Nebraska. They had a Facebook page and went dormant. We
brought it back to life.
We did bring it back to life. This one, I will preface this with, this wound up being a home run post for them. Not every post is going to do that, but this one, this was just an excerpt from their annual report, which is being published now. It's a husband and wife family that they decided to highlight because they have a fund through the Catholic Foundation that they use to sponsor scholarships. You can see that, trying to think, I think I had it up in here. Oh, this screenshot was taken 5 days after the post had been up. In those 5 days, it had reached just under 3,500 people, had 979 engagements, 18 likes, 1 comment, 14 shares. Those shares were huge because friends of this couple started sharing it out on their pages. And that really got the ball rolling. Tons and tons and tons of people saw it. This post wasn't promoted either. There was no money put behind this post. It was all organic reach, which is what we like to see. The key takeaway from this is that people want to connect. They want to know what your business is about. They want community. They want a reason to not only follow you, but to do business with you.
This also had a gift of a really great story. I encourage you to go check it out if that is something that interests you, but you too have great stories. I mean, think about the clients that you help and what are the stories? I mean, you have a lot to navigate, I'm sure. I'm not of that age yet, but I know the little I know. I called my mother-in-law the other day. I'm like, what kind of insurance do you have? Because we need to get my father-in-law in. And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, I don't know anything either. I'm like, is it A? Is it B? Is it, like, I know there's an alphabet in there. What do you got? And she's like, I don't know. I mean, so think about those clients that you really connect and you walk them through the process, you educated them on your products, and then they felt good about it. Get them a testimonial. That could be a testimonial that they say to you and let you ask them for a picture. But those stories are important because, I mean, it's like, I felt like that person, and that person felt like this once he worked with Bob. I want to have that feeling. I've never had an agent spend the time to walk me through it. So look through your Rolodex and who you can get a good story from.
This is another example just of a engaging post, Prairie Orthopedic. Dr. Machado has a huge personal following of his own fans. And they love to see his stuff up. People who follow this particular office love to see stuff about all their staff. But, you know, we're just promoting him. We do this with everyone in their office. We have just a tiny snippet up top about him, and then it links back to his bio on their actual website. But people, again, this just goes back to people want to know you. They want to know your origins. They want to know, you know, where you studied or what led you into this industry or whatever the case may be. It may seem silly, but people really do want to know. It's one big way they connect.
Go back.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you mean by people reach, engagement, comment, sharing? What is the people reach?
Sure.
Can you explain what that is?
I sure can. So people reached, that's the total number of people up to that point that I took the screenshot. That's the total number of people that have in some way, shape, or form seen this post.
Okay.
Whether it's because they're followers of the Catholic Foundation and it popped up in their feed, or because it popped up in a friend's feed and they saw it. So that's where that comes from.
Okay.
And I think at the time, what also made this so incredible was this was the first post we put up on that page. They had 18 followers at that point. So
That's a pretty remarkable thing. We were like, yay.
Yeah.
All of it now.
And so for this one in particular, a lot of that people reached came through those 14 shares. I know that the wife, her name's Corey Mooberry, I know that she shared this on her personal page. And so she had all of her personal friends seeing it, liking it, all of those things. And then other people sharing it from there as well.
So that's what.
Yes. Yep.
Then what is it?
Engagements are, so an engagement would be if somebody decided to share the post, if they decided to comment on it, if they had some reaction to it, so the thumbs up or the heart or whatever the case may be, or if they clicked on the post to
The larger story.
view the larger story or whatever the case may be. So, okay, Dr. Machado, and then, so this is Lincoln Orthopedic Center. The gentleman in the vest, his name is Doug. He's an amazing person. Hates being on camera, but he was this time.
He's a trooper.
He was a trooper. So this was a Facebook Live that we did for them. It was pretty spontaneous. We did it because they had this chainsaw carving guy who carved this big LOC thing out of a dead tree that was right next to their parking lot.
On
So,
A Street.
Yep, on A
Yeah, you
Street.
can see it on A Street. It's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Within 2 days, this post had over 3,000 views. People loved it. There's people who go to the office, they know Doug, they've talked to Doug. There's staff, there's doctors, there's patients, family, all of those things. Doug thought nobody would watch it. Maybe his wife, and that was it. And he was shocked that 2 days later, 3,000 people had watched it. 3,500 actually. So the little thumbs up and heart and surprised face, there was 151 of those reactions. And you can see they pop up just in the comment feed. And 86 comments. People were commenting on this throughout the entire video. And it wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't anything. It was very authentic. It was very genuine. It was Doug being Doug out in kind of a rainy day with a guy with a big chainsaw. So.
Well, and what's cool too is when we talk about Facebook Live, they can tune in at the moment. They're notified that, hey, Transformation Marketing's live. Do you do lives at all? Okay, so they're notified, but then if they miss that, it's still on your page. They can see it later. So they don't have to tune in live, but it's kind of cool because then the little hearts and everything come up during the process. So.
Yeah. And then our last one, this is for Lincoln Orthopedic Center, again, pre-recorded video. This was a whole video series that we shot for Lincoln Orthopedic Center. And it was their one word campaign. So we had a bunch of different videos. This particular one was what sets us apart. And is it culture? Is it excellence of care? Whatever the case may be. So with this video as well, all the engagement was organic. It wasn't promoted. It had a great reach of 2,700 people. And this video served several purposes. It served to educate, but it also highlighted staff in the office, and it sort of pulled you into what their office and team culture was, which was a big thing. Do we have time to play the video? You think so? Okay. So this is, I don't know if this will play or not. Can you push play on the screen? Will it work?
This is, if we can't get this to play, it's okay. It's out there. You can find it. But I said, April, we should use this because it's something very simple that you could do is if you have a staff or if you have a lot of clients that you're seeing, hey, can you describe your experience with me in one word? Comforting, confident or helpful or whatever it is. You can put something like this together. They didn't have to say a whole dialogue of anything, but it just was a really simple. Oh, did it go? Oh, you will.
I don't know if we'll have sound though, will we?
If not, yeah, and if not, it's no big deal. But I picked this just because it was simple, and I want you to know that things do not have to be complicated to be effective.
If we can't get it to play,
We
all you
can
have
send it out in a link.
yeah, we can send it in a link. Not a problem.
I have a few other things that I want to share with you guys. I know you're probably Facebooked out, but so we talked about we're there, we got our page, we've got our content calendar, we've got all our planning out. How are we going? Oh, it's going to go. Maybe.
I was trying to skip it, but I think the
Yeah, it's no worries.
Yeah.
But
can
how?
you reconnect the remote?
It's
Can you
no big
reconnect
deal.
this?
Oh, okay.
There you go.
We did it.
I think one of the things that sets Lincoln Orthopedic Center apart is just our atmosphere here, our staff, our physicians.
One unique thing that we have is that most problems we can take care of from start to finish in this one building. We have our clinical
cheated.
space here. We have a very good, efficient, safe surgery center right on the other side of this wall.
We care for our patients that come in, right from the front desk to the nurses, schedulers, doctors. We really care about our patients and how they're treated.
And we go above and beyond to help people to get what they need, to make sure they have a good, happy ending.
Our surgery center is really the only orthopedic surgery center that's dedicated purely to orthopedics in the state of Nebraska.
We really put our patients first. The patients can tell that, and that helps us care for them better.
Pretty tight-knit group. We don't have a lot of turnover. All the PAs have been here since I've been here for the most part, which makes a good team, and I think they work really well together.
Having more of a family feel, some of those traditional values, I really felt like this group had those. And I think that's really important.
Try and take every opportunity to get to know the patients on a personal level. And I think that really is important in providing the best possible care for them.
Okay, this wasn't quite it because they used obviously more than one word. We did make them do a one-word one, but what strikes me on that video, and this is Facebook aside, this is just business and sales focused comment I'll make, is think about, I had a call with someone who was on Tuesday and on today, is why would they buy from you and no one else? You're not the only people that sell Medicare. So think about that, because you're going to want to put that forth in your social and everything is take some time to think about why are they going to buy from you? What are you going to offer them? And I'm not talking about price. So we're going to build your audience. We're going to have all this content unleashed, and how are they going to find you? Some of the things that seem so simple on this list, people forget about. You've got to tell them that you're on Facebook. So put the Facebook icon on your website, link through. So if they're there, they can click, oh, they're on Facebook. That's great. I'll follow them there. Add it to your email signature. I mean, tell them everywhere that you're on Facebook, because when you put that content up, you don't have to spend a mailer to tell them. They're going to see it. Add it to your print materials. Granted, it won't link, but if you have leave behinds, you have brochures, connect with us on Facebook. You see it all over, because once that audience is built, you are able to market to them. When you build your page, invite your friends and family and acquaintances to follow the page. Just let them know, hey, we just launched our new Facebook page, or invite them along. They'll get that invite and they'll want to support you. Send out an email to your current clients. I don't know, how many of you guys do email campaigns on a regular basis? Perfect. That's also something you can consider. So Todd might have us back to talk about other marketing strategies. I'd love to do that. But if nothing else, just send them out an email that says, hey, we've launched a new website. We've launched a new Facebook page. Connect with us there. A simple email will do. It doesn't even have to be fancy. And then have your staff follow your business page. If you have a staff, let them engage in it. I always, especially with the larger companies, I have them put together a social policy. This is not where you air grievances. This is where we contribute to our cause of helping our clients. So LOC is a great example of that. Their staff is highly engaged in their page, and their families are too. It's so funny. We learn really quick who their super fans are, and Heidi is like leading the charge with her and her husband. So do encourage them to follow and support you in that.
Oh, there we go. And then some just additional bonus tips to wrap everything up. How do you use your personal and professional pages in tandem? You can do it. It should really only flow one way though, and that is sharing something from your business to your personal page. So that's fine if it flows that way. If it's we have lots of people who are great at this. But taking something from your professional page and sharing it over onto your personal page so that maybe a broader width of individuals will see the post. There are exceptions to every rule, but by and large, don't share stuff from your personal page to your professional page. That's where that muddying the waters comes in. And then we get asked frequently, when do you comment as yourself? When do you comment as your company? This is kind of a gray area also. People have their own rules for things, but don't comment on your business page as yourself. Don't answer, if it's Shannon and it's transformation marketing and somebody puts a question up, Shannon answering it as Shannon from Shannon's personal account will confuse people. I can guarantee you. They'll wonder, why is this random person, even though she's in all the pictures all over the page, why is this random person answering my question? Why isn't the company answering my question? Answer it under your company's profile. It just makes things easy for people. And then when you're commenting on pages of other businesses, comment as a business yourself. If it is professional, if it's a working relationship, if it's a business that you're trying to connect with on a professional level, comment as yourself personally. If it's something that you personally have encountered as a consumer, client, whatever the case may be.
So that kind of wraps up a lot of Facebook stuff.
Yes, it does.
I appreciate the questions. Do we have any online questions that have come in?
We had one about the slides, and I said we were going to send the slides out.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Great. Any other questions?
Also, take any questions online too. Just again.
Yeah. Oh, so if you have any questions online, we have Todd monitoring that. You can ask him. We'll answer them right here. Don't be shy. If you feel like asking them privately, you can do that as well. So to wrap this up, what I did bring today, because I would be not a salesperson worth my weight in gold if I didn't bring you some ways to alleviate this. If you want to put your business card in here, I do. Put your business card in there. I have a fancy little package that we'll draw for just something fun. It is not tickets to the spring game. Yes, up front, April and I's business cards here. I do that to see if you're brave and will come close to me. And then I put on here, this is a piece that we did is the ROI of digital marketing. It talks about all the digital marketings and what you would use them for. And the slide rule here is how much costs or how much time does it take. So if you're interested in that, you're welcome to take that. I do have a PDF. I have a PDF. Anything that you want or anything that I put here, I will get to Todd so he can forward it out to those in online land. The last thing that Todd suggested that I put together, we talked a lot about Facebook. You might go, I'm ready to go and build my page and I'm ready to go build some content. And I realized that there's going to be a subset of you going, you know, I just have no interest in that. And that is okay, because those are the type of things that we get really excited about. So to do that, I have put together a promotional pricing that if you want to turn over your Facebook to April and our team, you can do that. I also put in here a website plan. In my discussions with a couple of the agents in the few times that we've talked here, sometimes just what you lead them back to needs to be updated. The website needs to be updated. And some people don't even have a website. So I put together a couple programs just because we work with senior insurance, marketing on their stuff that are discounted or payment planned out that can make it easier for cash flow. So if you're interested in that too, I have that up here as well. We'll send that out online as well. So you guys, because you work with senior insurance, you're welcome to work with us too. Lastly, I'm sorry online, I don't know how to do this with the bridge, but those that have braved the wind are going to be up for the drawing. April, I feel like then they stack. I'll be like a dealer.
Oh, wow. Official now. Brian Curran. All right.
Hey, you engaged in my presentation too. So this is Sweet Treats, the rock candy. So I had someone open this. I think most people like candy, but I had someone open this and thought that they were bath salts, not the bad kind, but the kind you put in the bath. I'm like, well, you might come out sticky. So they are to eat. So, but anyway, so enjoy some sweet treat. And for everyone else, I have Tic Tacs because we live in the land of wearing masks. You know, we've become well aware that these are kind of fun to have on hand. It talks about freshening up your marketing. So our contact information is there as well if you'd like to take some. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
I'll start this towards the back.
Yeah.
Also, just wanted to, that's fine. Also, just want to let you know, we are having another Lunch and Learn on April 6th at 11:30 here in this room. And also for everyone virtually, you're welcome to join as well too. It's going to be Andrew Loudon, the estate attorney. We had him here a few weeks ago when we had Bankers Fidelity, kind of gave a brief snippet of what he does and everything like that. But he's going to be here for the full Lunch and Learn, and he's going to talk about Medicaid and Medicaid spend down, and also the 10 most common estate planning mistakes as well too. So if you're not signed up for this in person or virtually, call us here at Senior Insurance Marketing, 877-800-3080, and we'll be happy to get you registered, send you the link for the virtual visit, or put you down for the in-person visit as well too. So, and I want to just say everyone that's on the virtual visit, thanks for joining us today. Hope you got some information about it. And again, like I said, if I can do Facebook, you can do Facebook as well too. So it's very simple, very easy to use. And also, you know, I think Shannon and April, basically, You know, the only, I mean, you know, you think, oh, I maybe need and help me out here. And oh, maybe I need a $1,000 camera or whatever to do a Facebook Live video or pictures or something like that. Just, this is what I use for my Facebook Live videos and my camera. It's an iPhone, my son's not here, 8. So anyway, it's an iPhone. It's not the greatest, but it's the most latest one. But that's what I do. And it's surprising when you do the Facebook Lives of, like Shannon April said, you get the different little hearts and thumbs up and everything like that. I only keep mine to 60 seconds is roughly what I keep it to. And within those 60 seconds, the most thumbs up or likes or whatever I've had is been over 200 people within 60 seconds. So again, Facebook is a very powerful tool. So anyway, if you have, we're going to send the slides out. So we have Transformation's contact information. Contact them. They can help you tailor a plan for you or whatever, help you out from A to Z or whatever.
And let us know what you're, oh, well, I know.
Yeah. Oh,
Let us know what you're struggling with. If you're just like, I don't want to set it up, but I want to take a stab at making content, that's fine. We can do that. Just let us know how we can help. So
thanks for coming, and thanks everyone virtually online. And remember, April 6th, if you want to sign up for that one, give us a call and we'll get you taken care of. And call us for any quotes or anything else you need. We're here to help you out. Take care, everyone. See you later.